Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling you in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. Government reaches out to opposition. Parliamentary Affairs Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu says it's ready to accommodate changes in the land bill. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh moves Supreme Court seeking quashing of special court summons to him. Mystery surrounds death of Madhya Pradesh governor's son in Lucknow. Victim is one of the accused in the MP teachers recruitment scam case. Black box of the ill-fated Germanwings Airbus 320 found in the French Alps. Rescuers say there's no hope of any survivors among the 150 on board. And Indian fans across the world pray for a victory over Australia in the World Cup semi-final. The knockout match will be played in Sydney tomorrow morning. Top story this evening. The NDA government says it's willing to make compromises on amendments that the opposition is seeking to the land acquisition bill. Now, stating this in New Delhi, Parliamentary Affairs and Urban Development Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu insisted that important legislations should not be used for political gains. He said the ordinance issued by the government with regard to fair compensation and rehabilitation for farmers is in the larger interest of the country.
The present ordinance which is approved by the Lok Sabha, which has been transmitted to Rajya Sabha, yet to be discussed and decided by Rajya Sabha. If at all, if it lapses, because some people are carrying stories, then those 13 acquisition made under those 13 acts, the farmers will not get reasonable compensation. That is the implication. One has to understand that. And moreover, and the state have the liberty and power to implement the new bill or the old bill. हम बता रहे विपक्ष को कोई अच्छा सुझाव है और भी सुधारने के लिए है तो आप दीजिए और बिल को साथ दीजिए, इसको पारित करने में मदद करिए और किसानों के हित में हम मिलकर काम करें, ये हमारा विनती है विपक्ष से.
Former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh moved the Supreme Court today seeking to get the summons against him quashed in a coal block allocation scam case. Singh sought immediate stay on the order, asking him to appear before the trial court on the 8th of April. The petition is likely to be mentioned for an urgent hearing before the court on Thursday. Singh's petition claimed the summoning order was not legal and against the principles of criminal jurisprudence. Apart from challenging the court order on technical grounds, he said in his petition that there was no instance of alleged criminality that could be attributed to any of his acts as coal minister. Singh was summoned along with Kumaramangalam Birla and others in connection with the Hindalco coal allocation case. Now, Madhya Pradesh Governor Ram Naresh Yadav's son, who was named as an accused in the multi-crore Vyapam scam, was found dead early today. His body was found under mysterious circumstances at his family home in Lucknow. Initial reports suggest he died of a brain hemorrhage.
At a time when MP Governor Ram Naresh Yadav is battling a critical health condition in Bhopal, his 50-year-old son Shailesh was found dead under mysterious circumstances in Lucknow. His body was found early on Wednesday morning. Initial reports suggest he died due to a brain hemorrhage. Shailesh Yadav was named as an accused in the Madhya Pradesh Professional Examination Board of Vyapam scam. He is alleged to have taken money to ensure admission to 10 candidates who wanted to be contractual teachers. Alleging foul play in his death, Congress leaders have demanded a CBI inquiry.
दुखद निधन है. अभी तक ये नहीं पता लगा कि उस नौजवान ने आत्महत्या की है या एसटीएफ की पूछताछ से टॉर्चर हुआ है, लेकिन मौत संदेहास्पद है. उसकी सीबीआई से जांच होनी ही चाहिए.
इस तरीके से शैलेश के ऊपर व्यापम घोटाले का केस बनाया गया. उसके बाद राज्यपाल को और शैलेश को दोनों को सदमा लगा और मुझे लगता है कि इसके पीछे कुछ ना कुछ है, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से उनकी मौत हुई है वो संदिग्ध मौत है.
Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, along with other BJP leaders, extended condolences to the governor.
हम सब अपनी शोक संवेदना प्रकट करते हैं. भगवान दिवंगत आत्मा को शांति दे और गवर्नर साहब पूरे परिवार को और उनके पूरे परिवार को ये गहन दुख सहन करने की क्षमता दे।
ये बहुत दुखद अवसर है। वे स्वयं स्वास्थ्य की दृष्टि से बड़े कमजोर पलों से गुजर रहे हैं और हमारी पूरी संवेदनाएं उनके साथ हैं।
Governor Ram Naresh Yadav himself is an accused in the case that involves massive irregularities and corruption in the Madhya Pradesh Professional Examination Board. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the infighting in the Aam Aadmi Party seems far from over. Barely 2 days ahead of the party's scheduled meeting, the party's National Advisory Council member Ashok Talwar has written to Arvind Kejriwal alleging a conspiracy to break up the party.
Internal feud has surfaced in the Aam Aadmi Party once again. On Wednesday, National Council member from Punjab, Ashok Talwar, warned that vested interests were attempting to destabilize the party. In a letter addressed to party convener Arvind Kejriwal, Talwar said a section of the party was calling a parallel meeting a day before a crucial meeting on the 28th of March.
कुछ लोग हैं उसमें, यदि आपके पास लेटर है तो उस पे कुछ लोग हैं, तो मैंने इशारा किया है उनकी तरफ कि ये लोग कुछ कर रहे हैं, तो मीटिंग कॉल करने की कोशिश की जा रही है। और क्यों एक दिन पहले बुलाने का मकसद क्या है? यदि मीटिंग है तो ऑफिशियली उसी दिन बुलाई जाए, 28 तारीख को। ठीक है, नेशनल काउंसिल 2 दिन की मीटिंग है तो ऑफिशियली उसको कॉल किया जाए, 2 दिन पहले कॉल किया जाए।
Talwar also named a few leaders trying to organize the parallel meet. Senior leader Shanti Bhushan rubbished reports of any such meet, asserting that he would attend the slated meet on the 28th of March.
मुझे लगता है कि जिन लोगों ने चिट्ठी लिखी है और जिस चिट्ठी के बारे में अशोक तलवार जी कह रहे हैं, उनसे इस बारे में पूछा जाना चाहिए कि कौन सी मीटिंग है, क्योंकि मुझे जो जानकारी है पार्टी के तौर पे 28 तारीख को राष्ट्रीय परिषद की मीटिंग है जिसमें सारे लोग इकट्ठा हो रहे हैं। अब उसके पहले कौन सी मीटिंग किस उद्देश्य से बुलाई जा रही है, कौन बुला रहा है, इसलिए आप उनसे पूछें मुझसे।
Talwar's claims come at a time when the two separate warring factions in the party are struggling to maintain peace. All eyes are now on the crucial meeting on Saturday that will be attended by party chief Arvind Kejriwal. Anu Diwan's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And rescuers are looking for an Indian Navy surveillance aircraft that crashed last night. 2 officers are missing about 25 nautical miles in the southwest of the coast of Goa. 1 officer was rescued. The Navy has ordered a boat of inquiry into the crash.
9 ships and aircrafts are searching the Goa coast for a naval aircraft that crashed last night. 2 officers are missing. The captain of the Dornier aircraft is hospitalized in a serious but stable condition. The 2 missing people include a lieutenant-ranked lady officer who was the observer on the Dornier. The Navy has ordered a board of inquiry into the incident.
Last night, one of our naval Dorniers, which had gone on a training mission with 3 air crew, 2 pilots and 1 observer, met with an unfortunate accident. We don't know what happened, but we lost contact at around 10:10, to be precise 10:08, and thereafter search and rescue was launched.
The Dornier aircraft plunged into the sea 25 miles off Goa. Preliminary findings indicate the plane developed some technical problems, after which it plunged into the sea. Navy Chief Admiral R.K. Dhawan has rushed to Goa to take stock of the situation. The accident is latest in a series of disasters to hit the Navy, coming just months after a naval ship sank off Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, leaving 1 dead and 4 missing. However, this is the first time that a Dornier aircraft crashed. The Navy has only 32 of these. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, is on a 2-day visit to India. He held bilateral meetings with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and signed 6 agreements. He has more on this.
Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Delhi on Wednesday. Both leaders held bilateral talks and signed 6 agreements. Apart from transferring sentenced prisoners, India and Qatar signed MOUs for cooperation in information and communication technology, an agreement between the Ministry of Earth Sciences and Qatar Meteorological Department for scientific and technical cooperation, an MOU between Diplomatic Institute of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Qatar and Foreign Service Institute of the Ministry of External Affairs, cooperation in radio and television, and an agreement for mutual cooperation and exchange of news. The Qatar Emir is accompanied by a high-level delegation of ministers, senior officials and captains of industry. Earlier, President Pranab Mukherjee received Al Thani, who was accorded a guard of honor at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Around 6 lakh Indian nationals work in Qatar, which is also the largest source of India's liquefied natural gas imports at 86%. Bilateral trade between the two nations stands at $16 billion, that is heavily weighted in favor of Qatar due to India's LNG imports. Bureau report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Russian Telecom Minister Nikolai Nikiforov met Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting Minister Singh today. Both India and Russia agreed to strengthen ties in the information and broadcasting sector with an exchange of media personnel and cooperation in social media space. India also agreed to start a students' exchange program with Russia. Rathore said both countries have much to learn from each other as India is the largest democracy and Russia has an international television network presence.
They propose to have interactions with Broadcasting and Information Technology Ministry and carry forward areas where we can have mutual cooperation in the internet, the television and social media, and also an exchange of media personnel from here to Russia.
We'll slip into a very quick break right now, but coming up on the other side, all the latest updates as far as the French Alps crash is concerned of the Germanwings plane. Not good news over there. We'll be telling you more on the other side. Welcome back. Now some more news from across the country and nationwide. Independent MLA engineer Abdul Rashid was marshalled out of the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly. This after Rashid stormed into the well and protested over the Speaker's decision to drop a resolution that wanted Afzal Guru's mortal remains to be brought back on humanitarian grounds. A major fire broke out in a multi-story commercial building near the Andheri East Railway Station in Mumbai. Thick smoke was seen from the building. No one was hurt. The blaze was later brought under control. A Gandhinagar court rejected Asaram Bapu's temporary bail on Wednesday. Asaram Bapu wanted a 30-day release to perform the last rites of a relative. The court said that there were other family members who could perform the last rituals. 72-year-old Asaram is currently in a jail in Rajasthan since September 2013 for allegedly sexually assaulting a minor girl. The Delhi High Court on Wednesday sought response from Law Minister Jitendra Singh Tomar on a BJP leader's plea over alleged wrong declaration of educational qualification in nomination papers. The court has asked authorities to seal all documents submitted by the minister during assembly polls. Now, some international news. Search operations have resumed in southern French Alps to find any survivors or wreckage after the Germanwings plane crashed on the foothills on Tuesday. Rescue teams recovered the plane's cockpit voice recorder. The focus today will be to find the second black box, the flight data recorder, that is crucial in analyzing the cause behind the crash.
Search teams combed the harsh terrain of Alps mountain in France for the second day, braving harsh weather. Not even a single survivor has been found so far. Aerial footage shows the extent of damage to the plane that went down on Tuesday, smoldering wreckage and a piece of fuselage. However, there is a ray of hope as officials said they have found the cockpit voice recorder. Badly damaged but not beyond use. Now all efforts are on to find the flight's data recorder.
Nous avons déjà récupéré une boîte noire qui sera envoyée au bureau enquête après accident dans les heures qui viennent, de manière à ce que l'enquête puisse avancer rapidement et que toutes les analyses concernant cette boîte noire.
Officials warned that the search operation will take a month or even longer. The French police confirmed that no survivors could be expected among the 144 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Leaders from Germany, France and Spain are due to visit the crash site.
In Greenland, the physical phenomenon is multiplied by 2, by 3. And therefore, the climate change has an enormous effect on what is taking place here.
Noch wissen wir nicht genau, was passiert ist. Noch wissen wir nicht genau, was die Absturzursache war. Aber wir sind unseren französischen Freunden allen, die sich bei der Suche
German wings officials say the plane started descending a minute after reaching its cruising height and continued losing altitude for 8 minutes. But what nobody knows is why the pilots did not send out any distress signal at that time. Air traffic controllers sent out a distress call after radio contact with the plane was lost. German wings has been forced to cancel few flights as crew members refused to fly. Meanwhile, the relatives of the passengers are awaiting some news from France. The Airbus A320 from Barcelona to Dusseldorf crashed on Tuesday with 144 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Officials feel 67 of the 144 passengers were German citizens, including 16 students returning from an exchange trip. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Thousands of people gathered at the Singapore's Parliament House to pay their last respects to the late Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew. The casket carrying Lee's body was moved into Parliament today. Lee's body will be kept there until Saturday, after which the casket will be moved to a cultural centre for the funeral ceremony. Officials are finding it difficult to control the queues as people are pouring in from across the world to pay tributes to Singapore's founding father. The tiny country is observing a week of mourning for his death. 91-year-old Lee died on Monday after being Prime Minister for 31 years. His funeral will be held on Sunday. Now, Nigeria goes to the presidential polls in 3 days. Security there remains a key issue. A day after the terrorist group Boko Haram captured close to 400 residents, mostly women and children, from the town of Damask. Last year, the group caused international outrage by abducting 200 schoolgirls.
Disquiet in the Nigerian town of Damask. Niger troops distributed food, blankets and other items to anxious residents after Islamist group Boko Haram took more than 400 women and children captive on Tuesday. This even as troops from Niger and Chad seized Damask earlier in March, ending months of control by the Islamist militants.
In terms of food items, we brought in 10 metric tons of food items, but we are distributing to the populations. You are well aware that when we took over Damasak, we found some populations, mainly old people, women, children, who were held hostages here in the city.
The developments come in the backdrop of presidential polls in Nigeria on Saturday. President Goodluck Jonathan and his main opponent, former military leader Muhammadu Buhari, are the top contenders. Jonathan's win in 2011 was hotly contested in the north and saw post-election violence that killed 800 people. The polls this time were also postponed from 14th of February because of security concerns. But many are apathetic to the election. The military has not been able to guarantee security, especially from the Boko Haram militants.
Nigeria must move forward. Nigeria is for the youth. Nigeria is not for old people like us. The youth must redefine this country. The young generation must redefine this country. We must take this country to where we want to go. Nobody can push us backward.
I seek to be next president of our beloved nation because I believe I have something to offer Nigeria at this time of multiple crises. Insecurity, corruption, and economic collapse have brought the nation low.
Win our trust again because it's been a very competitive thing between Jonathan and Buhari, and I don't know who is going to win, but whoever is going to win should be able to do something.
Thousands have been killed since 2009 in Nigeria when Boko Haram began its insurgency to create an Islamic state. The Islamist group caused international outrage in April last year after it abducted more than 200 girls from a boarding school in Chibok town in Borno state. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now let's get you some more international updates in Global Buzz. Yemen's President Hadi has asked the UN Security Council to back military action against the Houthi rebels. Hadi asked members of the six-nation Gulf Cooperation Council and the Arab League to provide necessary means to protect Yemen and its people from continuing Houthi aggression. US President Barack Obama on Tuesday said that prospects of Israeli-Palestinian peace are dim. His remarks come in the wake of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's statement that he will not allow creation of an independent Palestinian state if elected. 2 Bangladeshi citizens were taken hostage by the Islamic State militant group in an attack on a Libyan oil field. According to a foreign ministry official, the hostages were held for more than 2 weeks after the attack on the Al Ghani oil field. Libya has been in turmoil since the NATO-backed campaign to overthrow Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. Well, time for a very quick break right now, but coming up on the other side, we'll be talking about the big match tomorrow in the World Cup, India versus Australia. More on that on the other side. Welcome back. Now all the sports news and sports beat. Indian shuttler Guru Saidat entered the main draw of the Indian Open Super Series after beating USA's Satawat Ponegrat and Thailand's Telecom in the qualifying rounds. The Commonwealth Games bronze medalist will play Korea's Lee Dong-kyun in the first round on Friday. Out of the 20 qualifying spots, 14 were grabbed by Indians. Michel Platini was re-elected as UEFA president for a third term on Tuesday. The 59-year-old, who will serve another 4 years, hailed the European soccer's governing body as the best but criticised FIFA's scandal-plagued leadership. The Frenchman expressed disappointment over the running of the world football governing body FIFA, adding that UEFA will not back its president Sepp Blatter next time. Well, time now to close out the bulletin, but before we go, we'll leave you with a special preview of the big match in the World Cup tomorrow between India and Australia. Take a look at this.
On tour down under since last November, MS Dhoni-led India failed to register a single win in a competitive game. The World Cup changed that all. The men in blue seem to have found the right mix after their 7-match winning streak in the ongoing tournament. Team India is clearly reaping benefits of the time spent in enemy territory. The batsmen know the length and bounce on the Australian wickets, while the bowlers also seem to have found the perfect rhythm to bamboozle the opposition. Only 2 teams have retained the World Cup title ever, West Indies in 1979 and Australia in 2003 and 2007. And if things go according to plan, history could be repeated at the cost of Australia.
You know, we're playing some different cricket now. So what has happened. We have left right there. We never wanted to carry into the World Cup. We always spoke about this. We know how important the World Cup is, and we have actually come out and played really well and played some good cricket. So we just want to continue, just a matter of 2 more hurdles.
Playing India in Sydney is about the stiffest challenge Australia could have been given as they seek to join New Zealand in the final. The match will be played on a pitch that should turn and grip, so India will give Australia a tougher examination that New Zealand or South Africa would have done at this stage. The Michael Clarke brigade relies heavily on their aggressive approach toward the game and knows the condition better than any opposition. The team has thrived on his pace attack led by Mitchell Starc and Mitchell Johnson with adequate support from seeming all-rounders Shane Watson and James Faulkner. Part-time spinner Glenn Maxwell has also chipped in for Australia, who have left out their premier spinner Xavier Doherty after he went wicketless against Sri Lanka in the only game he has played in the tournament so far.
I think already you've seen the guys handle it really well throughout the tournament. The way the boys played in the quarter-final against Pakistan was extremely pleasing. Expectations there because we're the number 1 ranked one-day team in the world. The reason you have expectation on you is because you've performed.